One of the 2 or 3 most popular radio talk show hosts in America is Mark Levin, and he joins us now. Good morning, Mr. Levin.
How are you, my friend?
I said it.
How is it everybody easily imitates me?
Well, that's I don't know, but that's great if they can, you know. So
I guess.
Well, no, not I guess. It's great. So
Yeah.
Is Islamic terrorism, is that an appropriate phrase?
No, it's not. Islamonazism is actually the appropriate phrase because if people understand the history of that region and they understand the history of this jihadist movement, they'll know that much of it was born out of the Third Reich. As a matter of fact, the Palestinian Mufti worked very closely with Hitler to exterminate as many Jews as he could. So I am tired of this game where we don't call the enemy what the enemy is. Does that mean all Muslims are Islamo-Nazis? Of course not. Does it mean that all Germans in the 1930s were part of the Third Reich Nazis? Of course not. We had Germans in our country fighting against them. But, you know, it's amazing to me that this president and the left and much in the media are on the side of the Muslim Brotherhood pretending that they're not what they are, and yet the president of Egypt, the head of Bahrain, a number of these people are now speaking out and saying, hey, we need a reformation in Islam, and the President of the United States keeps pretending that they don't. So the President of the United States, again, is on the wrong side of this thing.
What's the genesis of their reluctance to identify our enemy as our enemy, what they are?
You know, this is a question everybody keeps asking, and I just think the left generally, the media generally, this president, that they are appeasers. And it's just easier to pretend that, you know, Al-Qaeda's on the run, we got bin Laden, so things are going well, I guess. But, look, I have given up trying to figure out and psychoanalyze these fools from day one. My objective is to make sure that they get out of office as fast as possible for the sake of our country in the future. But, you know, more and more people are speaking out about what this enemy is, including some people in the Muslim religion. And to constantly have the President of the United States pretend otherwise is pretty awful. And, you know, all this marching stuff, should he have been there? Fine. But do we really need to discuss this for 5 days? They slaughtered 2,000 black Christians in Nigeria. The Islamo-Nazis did. And they slaughtered them. Is anybody marching in Nigeria? Is anybody even talking about what's going on in Nigeria? Has the first black president even said 5 words about it? Nothing. It's an outrage.
Has he said one word about it?
I haven't heard him say a damn thing about it. He's busy, you know, giving away freebies. 2 years, oh, you want community college? I'll give that to you. Condoms, I'll give it to you. Health care, I'll give it to you. Very busy.
Talking with Mark Levin here on the Imus and Wine program. I was watching O'Reilly. Do you like O'Reilly?
No, not in the least.
All right, let me see if you like this point he made. That until all of the countries of the world unite in an effort to defeat these Islamic terrorists, Nazis, ISIS, we're not going to get anywhere. Do you agree with that?
To all the countries of the world unite. When have all the countries of the world united?
Never.
You ever look at the United Nations?
Oh, yeah, sure.
That's quite the freak show over there. As a matter of fact, about 2/3 of the United Nations is made up of member states headed by genocidal maniacs. So I don't know what that means to all the countries of the world unite. So that's not going to happen.
Yeah. Why don't you like O'Reilly, by the way?
What are you going to do? You're going to get me into this stuff, and then I got to deal with it on my show and so forth. I'm not going to get into that. It's nothing.
You're a sissy.
No, it's just that I like Fox. I like Roger Ailes. I'd rather, you know, not tear down that network. It's one of the few that exist out there to get a voice of some reason and conservatism out there.
Yeah, I like to get fights started. So.
Well, ask me about John Leibowitz. That's a whole other story over there on the Comedy Channel. Which is
of course, he's one of my comedic heroes.
Who?
Jon Stewart.
Really?
I think he's one of the more brilliant performers who's ever done that kind of performing. And whenever I say you say hurtful things about him, it wounds me greatly. So.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, you know. It's not like he does his own thing. What's he got, about 400 comedy writers?
Well, what's he supposed to do? I mean...
Well, what is he exactly? Is he Is he this deep scholarly intellect who informs us every day, or is he a left-winger camouflaged as a comedian?
No, he's a comedian. He's a social satirist.
Right. So I don't need to listen to him to get my bearing straight on the issues of the day. I mean, the other day you had Jimmy Carter on there, and
oh God,
and Stewart was slobbering on about whether Islam is a pretext for these head cutters. They're just angry people, and wouldn't they be violent anyway? So there's a guy who completely misunderstands 5,000 years of history, doesn't see what's going on right in front of his face, and of course he says it to our greatest anti-Semitic president, Jimmy Carter. He and Hamas go way, way back. And Carter's there says it's really the Jews in Israel because of the Palestinians. So you see, they're slaughtering Christian blacks in Nigeria because of the Jews and the Palestinians. The Islamonazis, the ISIS nut jobs, they're slaughtering Muslims and Christians and raping women and enslaving women because of the Jews and the Palestinians. This is a sick man. To give him a format even on Comedy Central is so absurd.
Right after South Park, by the way. So, you know, my wife runs every day. She went to Villanova on a track scholarship, and she still runs. She runs in the evening. So she usually finishes somewhere around 6 p.m. Eastern Time.
I love this lady.
And calm down. And we have speakers all through the apartment and up on both floors, and she listens to you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in the bedroom there watching SportsCenter.
Right.
And she's in the bathroom, and suddenly about an hour goes by, and the door flies open, and she comes marching out with a towel wrapped around her, looking good, and starts screaming about whatever it is you're talking about. So you've got a legion of these people. So
I do this to women, you know. They wear the towel, they start screaming.
Yeah.
No, she's a great lady. I admire her quite a bit, particularly for putting up with you. She's a good woman.
Do you like Bob Dylan?
Do I like Bob Dylan?
Yeah.
Not particularly. Why?
I just wondered.
I mean, to me, he sounds like a guy who's been shot in the foot.
Well, I just wondered if you had an issue. He changed his name, too, you know.
Now, listen. Here's the deal. I don't mind people changing their names, but the reason he gives that he changed his name is because, you know, he hated his father, and his father was not very nice to him.
Right.
So he dropped Leibowitz and he picked up Stewart. And I said, oh, that's good. Why didn't you pick up, like, Goldberg or Strauss or something? No, I picked Stewart. Look, I know what's going on. I'm Jewish, and a lot of these guys, I can't say he's among them, but a lot of these guys change their names because they think that's the way they gotta go in order to promote themselves. That's fine.
Hey, do you like Bernard?
I think he's great. Did he change his name? Is he Jewish?
No, but he has a question, and it is, what is the cause of this terror? What do you mean by that, Bernie?
Oh, we were talking about Jimmy Carter said that it was he blaming the Jews essentially. So the follow-up question is, well, why are these people on this rampage against civilization? What the hell are they doing? Why?
You see, Bernie, this is a question that I don't even care about. They're just doing it. We didn't sit around and say, why is Hitler a genocidal maniac? Did his father mistreat him? Did they drop him on his head when he was born? I don't care. Kill him. So I don't waste a lot of time with this psychoanalytical babble. I know people can turn to the Quran, they can turn to Sharia law, and they'd be correct. But I don't really care. The fact is they're armed, they're slaughtering human beings. They're doing it right now as we speak. And so many people in this country treat it as an intellectual discussion or as a joke. President of the United States is watching football all weekend. I mean, it just turns my stomach. You know, this is like the 1920s leading into the 1930s. We've already seen this sort of thing before, not exact parallel, but close enough. And more people should be raising their voices and be very pointed about who the enemy is, what the enemy is doing. How many more innocent human beings, blacks, whites, Arabs, Muslims, Christians, Jews, whatever, have to be slaughtered in the most barbaric ways to get our attention, to get the president's attention?
But once you get the president's attention, what's he going to do? What do you recommend they do?
Well, I'll tell you what he's done. he withdrew so quickly from Iraq without a status of forces agreement, which is a basic thing. You know, that's why we still have some places in Germany and Japan and Italy. We still have some bases there. You withdraw everything, lock, stock, and barrel, intelligence, everything else, you create a void. We have people over there who fought with us side by side who are now dead. They're being slaughtered because they fought with us. That's not how you, quote-unquote, leave a country. That's not how you treat a people. This is inhumanity. And the left is full of inhumanity, overseas and at home. So the question isn't what do we do now? The question is what do we learn from this? What should the next president do? We're about to withdraw from Afghanistan. Every single Afghani who supported us is going to be slaughtered in the most horrific way.
Yep.
I understand the need to pull out at some point, but you pull out in a way where at least there's some defense, there's some intelligence, there's something there for what we've done.
To be continued tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern Time.
I want everybody to know something.
On radio station all over
I want
America.
everybody to know something.
Well, what? Hurry up.
You're a good man.
Oh, well,
You are a good man, and you've always been very, very kind to me. I
Thank
want
you,
people
Mark.
to know that.
Don't-
God bless you.
Don't start slobbering all over me.
All right, you take care.
Lay off of my boy, Stewart. So, 10 minutes now till the hour.